Hi, this is Pat Fraley, purveyor of Doc Doug and villain voices, and you're watching Altered Geek.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unlimited, episode 32. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me as always is...
GCRN Mike.
Yes, that's Captain Nasal there.
Yes, I am Captain Nasal. How may I help you?
Deleted.
No, come on now. Yeah, you were gonna have to do this solo, but then I kind of got a second win, so yay, I'm here.
Yay!
We're not sure where Booth Ninja is. I think he snuck off to do something or
He's
other. Maybe he had to
gaming.
go. Nah.
We're sleeping, one of the two.
Yes.
He will be back soon, don't worry.
Yep.
He'll be in sporadically.
Yep.
So, I do want to touch lightly on the GCRN awards.
Okay.
I know we caught a little bit of flack for it, which understandable. I tried to explain it on the episode post itself, just to kind of curb the attacks that were set forth. Not that they were like entirely mean or anything. They were just people were wondering, why isn't this show on there? Why isn't this show on there? Why isn't this show on there? Well, essentially what happened, and I know I explained it there, but for those that haven't read that, we like more or less Dan and Kevin chose the films and the categories and everything else. Myself and Mike Booth Ninja chose all the TV stuff.
Yeah.
We kind of wanted to keep it a little simple just because the movie side was so top heavy. Yeah. Two, I had to make the art and code the areas, and we had to hurry up and come up with nominations. So it was kind of a spur of the moment, last minute thing. We discussed it in our last meeting of the year, which was late December. So it really didn't give us much time to sit there, and I had to hound them to get what we got as it is. It wasn't that they weren't going to do it. It's just I wanted to get it done ASAP so that I could get it up. We could try it out. And as I stated in the post as well, it's like doing the first top 100. We also learned that, there are flaws. So we learned what those flaws are. We're able to do it better the next time. I do have plans to make it better and more user interactive. We'll probably do the nominations in December, having everyone... there'll be a form where you can enter in the show yourself rather than pick from one of our lists, and then I will compile whatever pops up the most, basically the top 10 of whatever pops up the most on the list, and they'll be in no particular order, those 10, but once they're selected, but I'll make up art that'll be smaller so it's not so large. So it'll be a little bit easier to keep track of when voting. And I might make it so that they're more vertical so that the voting goes next to it, or if I can figure out a way to make it so you can click on the image and vote. That is the plan there. But it should be a lot more evened out next year. We'll still come up with the categories, but it will... we're going to try and even it out a little bit. And mind you, I don't want it to turn into the Oscars. I want it to actually be like a geek-centric thing, and I understand that we left off some, but...
Yeah.
Some of them, I'll be quite honest, I've heard of them, but I don't know enough about them to actually know where they fit.
Yeah, and see, that's the other thing with me. Like, I didn't actually do anything with the first annual GCRN Awards. I made comments to you when you asked me, like, oh, what should we nominate for this category or that category? Like, I told you about the Blacklist. I told you about Americans, or The Americans on FX. you asked me about cartoons, and I'm like Turtles, Prime, um, whatever else was in there. So I made suggestions, but I never actually did any work with this year's awards whatsoever. We were going to include comics for the pull bag, but since the pull bag wasn't even a year old yet by the time we had that meeting, I just didn't feel like I knew enough about current comics to actually go in and do categories for it. Comics will be a part of the second annual GCRN Awards next year, now that I'm a little bit more versed in the current state of comics.
Yes. So, but I did want to clear that up right away so that it's not a forgotten issue. I know that the first 10 minutes of the show tends out to be a network soapbox, but
Well, we're only 5 minutes in, so
yeah. So, but like I said, I wanted to get that out of the way,
yeah.
so that we could get that cleared up. Also, we've kind of started teasing some of the version 5 stuff, which,
Oh yeah.
with the header below the 5 years thing, there's a banner where I inputted actual logos from version 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the site. And I don't technically count this one that's on the site right now, even though it's technically the V4, just minus the Geekcast Radio Network wording on it.
Right. Yeah.
It's the same site, essentially. I would say it's more of a 4.5 because some of the aspects you see on the main page now will be on the new main page.
Right.
It's just going to be laid out nicer, cleaner, should be easier to get to. Some of the things will be surprising how it works. I'm quite pleased with it. There's some tweaking that's still going to go on with it, but it's for the most part done. So keep pimping out the Twitter page and getting more follows there, and the Facebook page. And if we hit another magical number, I'll display some more special features of the site, which I have a feeling will help in the future with not only voting purposes, but fan ratings on content that we rate. So I won't tease any more of that now. I just want to see if people actually vote for it. So there's that. So I guess we will come back after this quick break and cover the little bit of media news that we have. I'm not going to mention everything because that would be insane.
Yes, would be.
Yes.
Very insane.
So we'll put it in the episode post as usual, but some of it we're going to cover and some of it we're not. So we'll be back after this.
We are back, and the first thing we're going to talk about is something that might be a hoax. We are not trying to start rumors, but this popped up on IMDb and then was immediately taken down a while ago. Transformers Prime Powerful Alliances Part 1.
Yeah, I screen capped the entire page when it came out, which, funny enough, it doesn't exist now. And like you just said, it was deleted pretty much a week after it showed up, or a couple days after it showed up. The intriguing part is the voice cast. It has much of Transformers Prime in there, but it also has stuff connecting to the movie universe and Beast Wars.
Movie universe, Beast Wars. It's just... It's like they put this up here to just show everybody, hey, we could be doing this one of these days. Now, what's interesting to me is that it's not just Prime and Movieverse. It's also animated, because David Kaye is not listed as Megatron. He's listed as Lugnut.
Yeah, I glossed over that. I completely missed his name in there.
Sue Blue is listed as Alita 1. And keep in mind, people, this is all rumors. We get it. it's probably not going to happen, but it's still interesting to see what might happen. And then, guess what happens, Steve? The Hub Network announced next year that we're going to get a brand new Transformers series that's in production now for release in 2015. And it says, taking place years after the battle between Autobot and Decepticons and Transformers Prime, this all-new series centers around our hero Bumblebee stepping up to lead a brand new team of Autobots. The show features an all-star cast with Will Friedle returning as Bumblebee, along with Darren Criss, Constance Zimmer, and Ted McGinley, blending 3D characters with hand-painted environments. The series makes this action-packed adventure with lots of comedy, making it a rip-roaring experience for kids and families to enjoy together.
It almost sounds like it's going to be a mix of Prime and animated.
Yeah. And the image that they showed of Bumblebee, he looks like he's a mixture of Prime and animated styles.
Yeah, it actually is kind of intriguing how it looks. I'm not quite sure what to think about it yet.
Right.
I will say that I know without a shadow of a doubt that Powerful Alliances is total BS.
Yeah.
Because of that, not only because of the actors, but because one of the names on there is one of the guys that's been kind of tossing out random rumors, and he's been called out among the Transformers fandom.
Mm-hmm.
It's that if you look at the very bottom of the list, the one that's rumored to play Skywarp,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to include this image in the episode post, so go ahead and check it there. But it's the Austin Bittik-Kofer or whatever. I don't truthfully know who the hell he is, but I know that his IMDb credits aren't diddly squat, and he's got himself as a writer and on playing Skywarp, and like, this is everything on here is rumored, like total. It's like a total fanboy, wish here for a lot of this, but like the Zerd Restonis Prime or whatever. I mean, it just, some of it sounds like totally obscure and total BS, but but I don't doubt that some of these will actually come to fruition in the new show.
Let's hope. What do you think of the Bumblebee picture that showed up with the Newsarama link?
I actually really like that.
Yeah, I think it looks cool.
I'm quite surprised. I've never been a fan of the animated Bumblebees since G1. Like, I enjoyed G1, but I don't enjoy the latest iterations of him. Now, Transformers Prime, I do like that one. Animated, I was kind of so on. This definitely has the animated vibe to it, but the stylings of, like, the robotic forms of Prime, probably because, one, it's cheaper than the constant CG. Now, granted, they did an awesome, wonderful job on Prime. I'm glad that they're continuing it. It's kind of funny that they are mixing Rescue Bots and Prime, is what they're saying, which leads me to believe that at some point Rescue Bots and Prime are going to merge, creating a new show, because they also revealed at some point that in Rescue Bots, Prime is going to get a beast form.
Oh boy.
So then also kind of puts fuel to the fire, because with Megatron no longer evil and Prime getting a beast form, it leads the door opening for if they wanted to bring Gary Chalk back. Which would be logical only for the fact that Peter Cullen's getting up there in age. Not that he can't play Prime, because he does an awesome job as him. But it's just they may be ready for a change, is all I'm thinking.
Yeah. And I mean, Gary Chalk's, like, not primal voice, but his prime voice from Armada is not. I mean, it's not that bad. It's an interesting like robot truck voice for Prime. But I'm just interested to see what they're gonna do next.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
Peter.
I love the recent Transformers cartoons.
Mhm.
Um, I admit animated I wasn't too thrilled about. So, um, but I don't have any like hard feelings about it either. So I mean, I'm definitely interested to see what's going on.
Hmm. Guess which one is younger, Frank Welker or Peter Cullen?
I'm gonna guess Welker.
Welker's younger. Yep. Peter is 73. Welker is 68.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So let's see here. Captain America 3 may include Red Skull and a psychotic 1950s cap.
What do you think about that?
Uh, the, I wish all these stories that talk about the film after the current next film that's coming would wait until at least the second film is out. I thought the Red Skull died in Captain
They led you
America.
to believe he died.
Right, right. It's a whole comics thing of, is this character really dead or not? If it's Hugo Weaving that comes back and does it, sure, fine. He did a really good job as Red Skull the first time around. I don't mind that. I don't know about having a psychotic Cap, though.
Well, what they're
That's a
talking
little.
about is there was and I did some research on this because I was curious why they said that after Cap was frozen and Bucky was MIA,
Mhm.
um, there was a kind of maniac, crazy guy that took over the role of Captain America and Bucky,
Uh,
and they made their own costumes kind of like it and went around just killing people.
oh, so it's like the guys in the Dark Knight, right? Or the Dark Knight when they're going around in hockey pads. Great,
Basically.
great. We don't need that. Um, I find this absolutely hilarious. Um, Jack Sparrow has not yet been given the green light.
They might as well just cancel the rest of the series. Not that I don't like it, because I do. I don't have much faith in it now because they've waited so long.
Did you look at the rumor of the details of Ben Affleck's character in upcoming Batman versus Superman?
I have, but I,
As
I like some of the aspects. Like they're saying Batfleck will be 40 years old. Okay, I get it. Fine, whatever. That's kind of what they're going for anyway. Uh, Being retired, I kind of don't really get, but whatever. The Batsuit and Batmobile, they say that they're amazing, but I need proof. I need visuals. I don't doubt that they're cool. I want to see visuals. Um,
yeah, everybody does.
I'm almost wondering if the Batmobile is going to have that Arkham Knight vibe to it.
That could be
That
interesting.
would be interesting. I think it would be really cool, but I know that it's going to be like the Cadillac type style,
Hmm.
which would make it more BTAS. Um, they're also talking about this having uh, somewhat being in the Nolan verse,
Yeah.
which to
Well,
me, I kind of get it because it does kind of fit with the Man of Steel kind of vibe.
hmm
Um, which would also explain why they were hounding Christian Bale so bad and offering him
hmm
like buku bucks to come back because it would make more sense having him play the character again.
hmm
Um, but I it I don't know. It leaves it open, but they're gonna throw like another like gap between the Dark Knight Rises um, continuity of rebuilding Gotham as Bruce Wayne, even though Bruce Wayne's technically dead and broke.
Yeah.
So, like, I think they're taking some of the events, taking liberty with some of the events, and then kind of throwing it in there. They're almost putting like a Batman Inc. vibe.
Yeah.
Um,
I could
if
see
this
that.
rumor is true,
Hmm.
then they're taking the Batman Inc. approach of Batman or Bruce Wayne funding Batman.
Hmm.
Um, I just hope that they don't ruin this
Yeah.
film. I can see Bruce Wayne kind of going to Metropolis to help LexCorp for rebuilding it because of Superman and the other Kryptonians. But I really hope that they don't botch this something terrible.
I hope they don't either, and I'm still skeptical because I don't think it's fair. Okay, sure. Right now, regardless if last year was Superman's 75th and this year is Batman's 75th and next year is Green Lantern's 75th anniversary, regardless of anniversaries, Batman, even though he is more popular right now uh, for the general audiences, I think it's unfair that they're not giving Superman a fair shake. Batman had his three films over the last 7 years. So why not spend the next 7 years giving Superman, or at least the next 5 years, giving Superman two more films to go along with Man of Steel to set him up? I get it. DC wants to eventually lead into Justice League. Fine, whatever. I wish what they would have done is, after Man of Steel, make one sequel to kind of tie up and see where Clark is on his own, and then just start with Justice League and then branch off from there. That's what I wish they would do.
I
But
agree with you 100%.
I just, like, don't get me wrong. I love Batman. I love the idea of Ben Affleck as Batman. But all these rumors, like I said, the first time I guessed on, I guessed it on AGU. All these rumors are just bait for people like us to vent about them. I want them to do something right. I want them to pay attention to, if you're going to do a film like Man of Steel and set up all this stuff, you need a standalone sequel to let the viewers of Man of Steel who enjoyed the film, go back to it by itself before you bring in Batman, before you bring in everybody else. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Episode 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I guess we can go to a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, Star Wars Episode 7. I can't say that I'm surprised. I was kind of this is like almost non-spoilery, even though they were like, "Oh, it's breaking news. Star Wars Episode 7 is going to be 30 years after Return of the Jedi, and it's going to be an IMAX, and it's going to star a trio of new young leads and some very familiar faces." Well, it's like, no duh. Obviously, if they're going to have the original trio come back, which they're playing coy with it, but let's get for real. It's J.J. Abrams. He sucks at being coy because Khan. Whatever. But anyways, it's 30 years in the future. Obviously, the actors are older. It's technically 30, 40 years since Return of the Jedi anyway, so it's kind of, the timeline is about right to have the actors aged.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that they're turning this into a giant news article, and then they're saying, "Oh, not surprising, but still cool. Episode 7 is going to be an IMAX," and it's like, well, yeah, it's a big blockbuster. That pretty much everything goes to IMAX.
I like IMAX.
I love IMAX for that kind of thing.
I like IMAX, but it doesn't. I don't know. I'm not one of these cinephiles that has to have. First of all, I loathe 3D. 3D makes my head explode because it's just so god awful. Having to wear those glasses for 2.5 hours, but like, I just want to go to a movie to see the movie. I don't really like. It doesn't really matter to me whether it's IMAX or whether it's that stuff has never really bothered me either way, other than 3D. So I don't see, oh, it's going to be an IMAX as an actual news story. I mean, sure, that's fine. Set it 30 years after Jedi. Like you just said, it makes sense as far as aging out the actors because last year was 30th anniversary of Jedi. Um, so that's fine. I wonder if what I'm really wondering about this, and hopefully we'll see this in the coming months and whatever else, is who the new trio is going to be. Whether it's going to be Jedi's that Luke and Leia find,
Oh no,
or
it's going to
if
be a
it's
relation.
that's what I was going to say. If it's going to be a relation, if it's either Han and Leia's kid, or if it's Luke and somebody else's kid. Um, you know, I'm really interested to see where that goes with it. But again, at this point, I just want to see the movie already. What I really want to see with half these movies that we keep getting these news stories about
Trailer.
is I want to see a friggin' trailer. Whether it's just a 50-second teaser trailer or a 2.5 minute full trailer, I just want to see something at this point.
I cannot wait to see the Ninja Turtle trailer. I can't wait to see like a teaser for the Batman, whether it's the
Yeah.
suit or just Batman in general. Um,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the Batmobile. I can't wait to see um, something from Star Wars. Like, there's a lot of potential.
Yeah.
It's just it depends on. As a geek, it's never been a better time.
Oh, I completely agree.
The other catch is hopefully they do it right. I wonder what they're going to have as the catchphrase of Episode 7.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
Because I see a lot of the like it's fun reading all these like fan posters.
hmm
Um, because I see Knights of the New Republic, and then I see Legacy of the Sith, and then I see um, Legacy of the Jedi, and then it actually makes me laugh like seeing all these different ones. There's one that says A New Empire. Uh, it's humorous checking them all out.
yeah, the only one that really kind of, well, I'll say the only two that really just kind of weren't that epic to me was Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones.
Yeah,
The
I
rest,
agree.
the rest are all fine. Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, Empire Strikes, and Return of the Jedi. Um, uh, shall we jump down into the sewer layer?
Yes, the more interesting part of it.
Guess who's back? Details from Nick's Ninja Turtles Season 3. Dun dun dun. I am actually going to read this verbatim so I don't get it wrong, folks, so just go with it. With Season 2 at its midpoint, retailers, executives, and advertisers are looking ahead to the end of the 2014 and lies in store for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle franchise as the newest animated series enters its third season. Even though the rest of the world is still deep in the action-adventure that surrounds the second season, the discussions among higher-ups regarding what's to come have started trickling down to the public, providing some very interesting pieces of information to get the rumor mill circulating. In a recently released retail guide used to show advertisers and retailers the toys Playmates has coming out for the rest of this year, information was included about the success of the show, known casting decisions about the movie, and surprisingly, what the television show had in store for its third season. Bebop and Rocksteady, people.
So cool.
Yep. Bebop and Rocksteady, potentially, I believe potentially, Usagi Yojimbo was kind of a name tossed around. I love the Turtles cartoon currently. It's really picking up. Most recently, they did the double episode 39 and 40, called Wormquake, aka the Manhattan Project, where it kind of gave me a Men in Black 1 vibe because a giant worm is traveling through the sewers and the train tracks and all that thing. But Wormquake actually had something interesting at the end of it.
Turtles.
During the episode, we see that Dimension X, or I guess you could say the prime dimension, where all the dimensions kind of connect, had the 80s Turtles dimension. And because TMNT 2012 is a unionized show, the original voice actors returned as the original 87 Turtles. It was so awesome. In the future, I would love to see them do a crossover, because I really want to see 87 Raph have a conversation with 2012 Donnie. I love it when Rob talks to himself.
It would be hilarious, actually.
Yeah, it would be.
I think that would be like icing on the cake.
Yep.
Because it was already good, but then adding that extra flair to it, it would be priceless.
Yeah. Oh yeah, completely agree. Shall we head to Gotham?
I think so.
So Gotham, Fox's Gotham, has its first look at Donald Logue as Harvey Bullock. He looks good.
I think so too. I was quite surprised. I mean, I knew I knew he was going to look good as the character. Like that I had no doubt in my mind about that. The thing that's so amazing about it is the fact that he fits that look so perfectly.
Yeah, he does.
Like he looks like Harvey, like all gruff and I mean, I don't think Harvey had the facial hair, did he?
No, he didn't.
But I can look
not in the
that.
Animated series. Yeah, I can look beyond.
I don't care about that. He's got the kind of gruff style to him. I can definitely see him playing.
I will say that Donald Logue as Harvey Bullock in this series kind of reminds me of Eckhart in the '89 Batman movie. Eckhart was supposed to be a sort of Harvey Bullock, and he did have a full-on, not handlebar mustache, but a full-on bushy mustache. You remember Eckhart, right? The guy that Jack killed in the beginning?
Yeah.
The cop?
Yep.
Lieutenant Eckhart? Yeah. That's what this kind of reminds me of a little bit. Did you notice anything else about the image?
The bat signal in the background?
My only question is, why would it be there if Bruce is still a kid? You know, I'm not going to put too much into it. It's cool. But if in this series Bruce is supposed to be only a teenager, like a young teenager, why would the bat signal be there? Just because it's Gotham and it's supposed to be a Batman show? I'm just happy that there's some sort of Gotham Batman family type show on television again. You know, sure, we may not get Batman for the longest time, but I'm just happy that they're finally going back to having the Bat universe on TV.
Yeah. I'm glad that it's being made now at this point. And I'm trying to keep more of an open mind. I think that I think that the more it goes on and the more I see of it, even though some of it's not per se like along with the canon, I can still deal with it. It's not going to like irritate me or go, oh, I'm gonna nerd rage on it. I'm like, oh, okay, it's. Like Harvey, the whole thing with Harvey, yeah, it's a slightly different take of it, but I don't mind it.
Yeah, you're pretty much to the point now with Gotham that you'd rather watch it than read Zero Year.
Oh, it's hands down I would do that. But honestly, Gotham looks more enticing than Agents of Shield.
Wow.
Agents of Shield is just I like it, but it's almost too much at this point.
Interesting. Yeah. Um, I know this isn't news. I know we're in the news section. I meant to bring this up at the beginning of the show. Did you happen to catch the Marvel special assembling the universe the other night?
Yeah, actually I did watch that.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
I mean,
Now
granted, a lot of it I already knew, like the histories of stuff.
right. Yeah.
So it wasn't that much of a learning experience for me. I mostly watched it so I could watch the last
Half of it.
no, the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I watched 90% of the show just so I
Yeah.
could see 10 minutes of the show.
I thought it was great. I'm not up to the minute knowledge on Guardians of the Galaxy. They're not characters. This is just how I am, folks. If it's not a pre-established character that I already know about, like Batman, Spider-Man, Iron Man, etc., 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 I'm probably not going to be that interested. I still have yet to see any of the trailers for Guardians of the Galaxy. What I did see on this little special that ABC did this past Tuesday, I thought it was interesting. I understand where they're coming from by introducing Guardians of the Galaxy as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't have a problem with it. I don't, I'm not to the point where it's like where I feel that the media is shoving Guardians of the Galaxy down my throat. Because I mean, hell, we're not even up to Cap 2 yet. So, but I'm really looking forward to Phase 2 and Phase 3 of Marvel Cinematic Universe. Captain America, I'm so looking forward to that. I can't wait till we get to Avengers 2. It's going to be really, really interesting to see where they go.
Oh, yeah. So I think that pretty much rounds out the news.
Yep.
So we'll come back in a minute with some of the listener feedback, the previous questions, and we'll get on with the topic of the show.
TV now. TV now. TV now. TV now. TV now. TV now.
Dragon, I don't do that tongue thing.
Oh God, stop it. Just stop now while you're ahead.
Alrighty, we're back with Altered Geek Unlimited, and last time we asked questions about, well, the Flash costume and stuff like that. So, so we didn't really get much feedback on those.
No, not really.
But we did get feedback on the Arkham game, which is what we actually talked about for the topic and then kind of went backwards with the show. Animated Addict says, I'm excited for the new Arkham game. I guess it is more of the same. How soon we forget how horrible Batman games used to be. I like what they have been doing since Asylum, and if it keeps up with that, I'll be happy. Definitely agree.
I mean, let's face it, folks. Batman games have never been that great. Neither were Transformers games.
Until the Armada.
Well, yeah, Armada was good for the time, but it still wasn't groundbreaking as War for Cybertron. Now, was it Sunsoft or Ubisoft? I think it was Sunsoft that did the NES Batman game, right? Yeah, it was Sunsoft. The old Batman game on the Nintendo Entertainment System, I really dug that. I thought that was great for the time, for the 8-bit graphics. The Batman games now, I think, take advantage of all kinds of current technology, which is great, along with the Transformers games as well. I wish it would go. I wish the Batman games would, and I know they've already done one, but I wish we would get a Beyond game. I really do.
Well, the Beyond game and the Return of the Joker game are terrible.
I know that, but I'm saying I wish with the current technology and how games are now on PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, I wish we would get a new Beyond game.
Well, the closest we'll ever get to that, I'm sure right now, is the Beyond Skin in Arkham City.
Yeah.
Which I actually, when I play that game, that's what I use. That or animated. That's pretty much what I use.
Yeah.
Or the Batman Inc. But I digress.
Yes.
I mentioned the Fletch remake / sequel, and Justin Washington says, I love the first Fletch movie. The second one was awful. One of the worst movies I've seen. Not sure how I feel about a remake. It could be good, I guess. I didn't even know it was based on a book series, which I didn't either until I did research for it that last time. As far as I know, this is supposed to be the third iteration, so it's actually like a continuation, but also a reboot, so it's kind of strange concept there.
I have to go back and watch the original Chevy Chase films. I barely remember them.
I remember the first one. I remember enjoying it. The second one, I remember it not being as good. I don't remember enough about it, though. I'd have to go back and watch it, which, hey, maybe there's an M-Wire. Go back and do the Fletch movies.
Yep.
But yeah, it's I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to do with it. It's just I will agree that the first one is probably, and that's the case with a lot of other franchise films or series films, is usually the first is the best. Brad Kellogg says, I'm actually looking forward to the new Transformers film. The trailer looks good and the story seems interesting enough, and there's no Shia, so that's a plus. And then he says, the one thing that bugs me about the Oscars is how they don't recognize comedy as much. Comedies are very rarely nominated for anything. And I agree with you. I hate the Oscars personally, but I hate all the award shows. So it's actually ironic that we're doing our own now. Because it allows more of a voice. And granted, like I said before, they kind of were slightly rigged this year. They weren't totally rigged, but they as far as what was on there, it was more so what we were familiar with and some of the things that we knew should have been on there. Some things, like I said, got left out. But I hate the Oscars because it's films that I don't care to see for the most part anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Most of what won this year, other than a select few, I have no interest in watching, and the ones I did watch that won, I didn't like them on many levels. So it's I feel like they're just the thing that discredits it for me is the same thing that people could argue about ours, is that, oh, a host hasn't seen this, so they didn't vote for it, or they voted for the one they're familiar with, just because of the name or something. Which they had a leak that came out that the Oscars this year, like the reason why certain movies won was because either one person voted on it, or a couple people voted on it, or a couple people gave it like pity votes, and never actually watched any of it, or decided, oh, I don't feel like watching these 40 things, so I'm gonna just not vote. So the votes were rigged. I mean, it's a cop out. If you're a movie critic and you're supposed to like watch all this crap for an award show and give an accurate portrayal, then you should watch it. I suffered through Gravity so that I could vote for it in the thing for certain areas, but I didn't vote for it in every area. I voted for it in certain categories, but
right. I'm one of those people that I watch what I enjoy. I've learned my lesson with trying to. I don't mind trying new things, but I sat through 5 seasons of a show that, for the most part, I didn't particularly like, and I'm not going to bring it up because I know Steve is going to hit his head against his empty desk if I do. But it's
Nice
like,
to bring up my empty desk, but I watched one season of it, but
it's just like
I couldn't get into it. My wife's like, "What the hell is the point of the show?" And I said, and I explained it from what everybody's told me, and then she's like, "Meh." So we moved on.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like everybody kept saying, "Oh, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better," and there were moments that I really enjoyed it and thought it was great, but the rest of it just kind of dragged on. But I've learned my lesson from doing that. I'm never gonna sit through something, whether it's a 5-season television show or a 2.5-hour movie, if the trailer or the advertising does not entice me to want to see it. Now, I don't care what anyone says. I'm not going to waste my time on something if the advertising does not speak to me. And I don't see that as judging the movie too harshly based on the advertising. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And I don't, I'm not going to sit here and bitch about how bad Frozen is when I haven't even seen the thing. I'll see it when it hits Netflix. I have, like, the trailers for Frozen, and I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm not making any judgments on it whatsoever. The trailers for Frozen just didn't make something in my brain say, "Oh my God, Mike, you have to go see this in the theaters now." So I'll see it when I see it, and that's how I am with most movies nowadays. And I've said before on this show that I'm the franchise guy. Or I'm the character guy. If you have Transformers as a franchise, sure, I'll go see it. If you have the Marvel movies, as long as they're mainstream characters, I'll probably end up going to see it. That kind of stuff. If you have the Expendables 3, 4, 5, 6, or Schwarzenegger doing his The Last Stand or something like that, I'll give it a shot. But it's just one of those things where when it comes to awards and stuff, this is why when people were suggesting that we do this, or when we were talking about doing the award show, I suggested to you that my original thought of doing an award show would be for people to vote on our content.
Which we had a little bit of it.
Right.
But there really wasn't more that we could have had to vote on as far as our content.
No. Right. No, I know. But that's what I thought of as a network award show would be if people voted on, like, best podcast episode, best written review, best article, best this, best that. And that's what I was really thinking of as award show. But what we're doing now, doing the geek side of the awards with the films and the TV and the comics, and the comics will come into play next year, like I said earlier in the show, and then our stuff as well. I'm fine with it. The Oscars, I just haven't liked award shows in a long time. I just really haven't. And honestly, it's mostly the host's fault.
I don't watch them because I'm disinterested. I would rather suffer through something I hate than sit and watch what are they wearing? Oh, this can line here, this can line here, this can line here. Oh, let's give us a 10-minute monologue and then announce the winner. And then, let's do another one.
If I want to see what people are wearing, I'll just wait until the fashion police do it.
If I want to see what people are wearing, I'll go to Kmart.
Oh, okay.
I can't stand let's look at this magnificent dress, or look at this magnificent suit. Okay, it's a damn suit. They don't really look all that much different. And the dresses, half the time, they're half naked anyway, so it doesn't really matter in that front either. So, I mean, you want to see all that, great. I mean, whatever. It's rich people flaunting what they have.
I will admit, when there hasn't been anything on Friday nights, that I do sometimes tune into Fashion Police on E, simply because Joan Rivers is hilarious with some of the jokes that she makes about these people.
And she is The Walking Dead, so...
Oh, where's a rim shot app when you really need one?
I couldn't help myself. That was just. She looks like The Walking Dead. She's been revived so many times. I don't know how she's still around. How old is she?
The Lazarus Pits have not been kind to Joan.
No, they haven't.
Joan Rivers. Why don't you go on to Epicurious's,
right.
or whatever his name is?
Yes. Epicurious Citium says, wow, I got it in one shot. Did any of you get to see the Veronica Mars film? So happy that got made. Curious to hear your thoughts on Kickstarter and if you were okay with products like Veronica Mars using it to get stuff made. If so, what old TV show would you like to see get the Veronica Mars treatment? First off, I have not seen Veronica Mars, the movie. I have watched the entire first season of the show. I haven't gotten past that, more so because I don't have Netflix anymore. And that's how I'd seen it. It wasn't bad. It didn't really pull me, but I didn't dislike it. So, I mean, I would give it another shot if and when I sign up for Netflix again. Mm-hmm. And then I'll probably catch the movie after I've watched the rest of the series because I want to give it a fair shake, whereas if I'm coming in without any prior knowledge. And from what I've heard, you pretty much have to know some of the information from the past to understand the movie. So I want to give it a fair shake, so I want to be able to see the rest of the show first. As far as things using Kickstarter, I kind of agree with it, but I kind of don't. I mean, if there's enough fan mail and clamoring for it, I don't understand why they won't just spend the money. I mean, I understand they don't want to be out a lot of money because they probably won't recoup a lot from something like this because it's like it's a cult fan thing. But at the same time, it's kind of crap that they have to make people have to pay for a show to get a film of something they like. It's like, you know, it's at the same time though. Star Trek Renegades, it's all done by cast members and crew from older Star Trek shows, all the way back from the original series to current. And they did a Kickstarter for it, and it helped fund a couple episodes so that they can do a pilot to try and pitch to CBS to try and get a pilot of a new show. Mm-hmm. So in that essence, I like it.
I've only seen maybe an episode or two of Veronica Mars. It wasn't a show that I saw the pilot in like the second or third episode. It wasn't a show that really grabbed me. I have zero interest in the fact that it got a movie made. As far as using Kickstarter, it's just too weird for me. Like half the stuff on there, depending on what you're trying to build or what you're trying to get off the ground, some of the rewards for donations are just strange to me. It's Hollywood. Why does Hollywood need to, like you said, if the fan outcry is there, why does Hollywood need to use Kickstarter? Anyone in Hollywood, not just Hollywood, not just the Hollywood execs in general, but why does stars need to use Kickstarter?
Well, I think it's because the stars and the creators aren't getting the control that they would like.
That's probably
and the
true.
Ability to produce the content. Because these giant studios like WB or CBS or NBC, Universal, Comcast, or Paramount, or all these other conglomerate companies, Disney or whatever. I think it's because a lot of them don't get as much of a say-so as they used to, and I think that also they're on the sequel and reboot train, where if it's not a sequel or a reboot to something that they've had major money come from, I mean, do they have the occasional like B flick that comes out, like Lionsgate or somebody else like that will have something come out like that, and it's just a quick money grab. I mean, look at Paranormal Activity. It cost $15,000 to shoot, and they made over $100 million on it for the first one. So I mean, it's stuff like that. As long as they can make a buck off of it, or if they've got a hit on their hands like the Avengers or like, Iron Man or the Marvel Universe or stuff like that, of course they're going to keep making things just like that because it made them a crap ton of cash, whereas things like Veronica Mars, I'm sure, didn't really make them all that much money when it was on the air. But it's also because they're kind of done over it. They're moving on to the other things. So I disagree with it only because it's Hollywood, and then I agree with it because it gives content creators and the actors that are involved that loved the content or wouldn't mind coming back to it an avenue to get noticed.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's Kickstarter is a very fickle thing.
I don't know if I would personally use Kickstarter. Like, I support the content that's being put out.
Yeah.
I don't have the money to shell out towards things that I care about.
Yeah.
So in that essence, I don't agree with it, but I like to give support to the stuff that I care about. So I guess moving on, Amir says, what do you guys think of the Charlie Brown movie they have in the works?
I saw something on Facebook earlier today before we recorded about this. I don't know if it was an actual trailer or not. Let me look and see if I can find it. I mean, if they do something, that's all well and good. Let's see here. It's not showing up in my trending on Facebook. I don't know. A new Charlie Brown movie, as long as it's animated, it'd be fine. I don't know how they'd pull that off in live action.
Oh, they're not doing live action.
Yeah.
I've actually seen it. It's going to be all animated, like 3D. So, like CG, I mean, not 3D. I always get the two terms mixed up, but
it could be cool. I'm just kind of wondering who they're going to get for the voice cast. If they're going to continue on with the ideology of casting actual children, or if they're going to get voice actors to do sound alikes from the original cast members. I don't know.
It'll be interesting. I guess we'll have to wait and see. It's kind of like the Peabody and Sherman.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really comment. But it has me intrigued enough that I want to go see it when I can. I don't know if I'll see it in theater, but I'll probably get it when it comes out.
Yeah.
So I think we will quickly ask a question. I will bring this one up. What shows are you looking forward to that are new to 2014? Which also leads directly into the topic of the show, which we should be able to cover very briefly.
Yes.
Kind of an overview of sorts. I thought it would be kind of interesting to talk TV without having to mention, the Batman vs. Superman or, Arrow or Supernatural or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or, the stuff that we've beaten with a stick.
Yeah.
So, like, are there any shows that you're looking forward to that you've seen pop up on the radar here?
I'm already watching them. I mean, because the 2014-2015 schedule hasn't come out yet. It doesn't come out till fall. We're still in the 2013-2014 season. Absolutely love The Blacklist. The Americans.
Didn't that come out last year?
Yes, it did. But
I'm mentioning like stuff that comes out specifically this year.
Yes, but
you damn troll!
I didn't find the.
I sent you the link, but anyways,
yeah.
I sent you again.
Spoils of.
I've heard people talking about True Detective.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll probably check it out. I don't know enough about it. I think that it's cool that you have two big actors on it,
Mm-hmm.
which makes more sense. They're on HBO than any other station. But
Yeah.
I'm I'm intrigued because I like both those actors,
Mm-hmm.
even though they're going to switch it up for season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Which whatever, that's fine. I'll probably give that a go when the first season's done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure how that's going yet. Uh, have no plans to watch the Seth Meyer late night show.
I have.
I don't mind him on Saturday Night Live. I know this is completely different, but I have no interest to watch him. I like Jimmy Fallon in general, a lot more, and I think it's cool he's doing the Tonight Show. I have caught glimpses of it, but not really had a chance to actually watch it.
I have big problems with Jimmy doing the Tonight Show.
Why is that?
Because his version of the Tonight Show is more so kind of like what we do for interviews with guests, where we'll ask them, or he'll come out and say, okay, James Spader, he's currently hit show with the Blacklist, and then they go into like a million other stories that Spader has got going on in his life. That's all well and interesting, but I'd like them. The problem I have with Jimmy doing the Tonight Show with certain guests is he talks about everything under the sun except for what they're there to promote.
But I think that's also why everybody likes Jimmy compared to some of the other late night hosts, is because he's more down to earth.
He can be down to earth. That's all well and good. He should still. The last time that I saw, I think it was this last week that Spader was on. James Spader from the Blacklist was on. Jimmy basically talked to him everything about anything else other than the Blacklist. He didn't even really mention it until it was like time for James to kind of go to the other chair, when they went to a commercial break for the final time that James was going to be the main guest there. It's like, I watch this. If I'm going to watch late night, I want to at least hear the guests talk about what they're doing currently. If it's a show that I watch, or if it's a movie star that is in a movie that I want to see, at least maybe a 5-minute thing about what they're on. That's my problem with Jimmy. It's most of his interviews on the Tonight Show since he's taken over is everything but what the people are actually promoting. The thing with Kermit, I did catch he had Kermit on, and that was the first time he actually talked about that I saw Jimmy talking about the movie. With Kermit, Jimmy and Seth, I guess I'm just not into late night TV anymore. I don't know. I was a Carson kid. I grew up watching, reruns of Johnny Carson, and sometimes my mom would let me stay up late to watch him live. And Jay was all right. He's no Johnny, but he was okay. But the rest of the late night crew, I can't even watch Letterman anymore. I guess I've grown out of watching late night TV. I don't know.
I think that it's kind of died down for the most part.
Yeah, and plus you've got two former Saturday Night Live people hosting the Tonight Show and then late night now. It's like, really? SNL comedy people doing late night talk shows? Really? I don't know. I mean, yes, I will agree that Jimmy is breathing new life into the Tonight Show and getting it more younger and vibrant, but I don't know anyone else currently that could actually pull the Tonight Show off than him. I just wish he would do more with what the guest is there to promote. 5 minutes is all I'm asking. That's not too much.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see that, but I mean, he just took control of the show, so it's kind of, it's gonna take him a while to get his footing.
Yeah,
because he's gonna get in the vibe of the Tonight Show, and the Tonight Show has to kind of rub off on him some too. Yeah. And he's trying to do something unique, so I mean, I kind of get where he's coming from.
Yeah, as far as these other shows that are listed on here, Helix, I've caught a couple episodes of it. It's sci-fi. I don't care.
Okay, so nothing worth your time.
Not for Helix, no. Spoils of Babylon. It's on IFC. I don't even know if I get IFC. And then the other ones are on HBO, and I know I don't have HBO, and I just. The last show on HBO that really made me take notice was The Newsroom. Before that, it was The Sopranos. I haven't been a real, straight avid follower of what HBO original program is doing. That's why I brought up the other shows earlier.
Well, there's people that like Breaking Bad will probably watch that Better Call Saul. It's supposed to be kind of some kind of connection to it.
It's a prequel.
Yeah, yay. So the actors get older sooner. It's case of Benjamin Button. And then there's some Halle Berry show called Extant. I don't know if I probably won't watch either one. I'm going to just be honest. It has to do with her being it's got Steven Spielberg as producer, but she's supposed to be an astronaut that reestablishes relationship with her family after being in space for a year. So it could be all right. But Girl Meets World, I know it's like another one of those girly teen Disney shows, but I'm solely influenced to watch it only because I grew up on Boy Meets World.
It's a sequel to that.
They're trying to tout it as not a sequel, like you don't need to understand the previous continuity, but those of us that know it are going to catch it because it does take place, the 11 or 12 years after Boy Meets World ended. And you have Corey and Topanga living in New York, and then there's already been pictures and shots. They're going to have Feeney in the first episode because Corey's supposed to be a teacher. So it's probably going to be a passing of the torch. You probably won't see Feeney again. I'm sure it's just a passing of the torch teacher moment. And then I know that they're going to have Will Friedle, and then have Sean and the parents. So they're going to have them on there. So it'll be nice seeing some of the nostalgia hit it.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see the show. I
am too. I'm very excited to see.
I just wonder when the hell the damn thing's going to air.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
it's going to have 21 episodes for season 1. They confirmed that like 2 months ago. They extended it from its original number by it was supposed to be a lot lower in episodes, and they bumped it to 21, but it doesn't say when it's actually going to start airing.
I'm betting it's going to be sometime in the summer or the winter. Disney has to clear it. Disney Channel has been like clearing out everything that they've had going on the last 5 or 6 years. Good Luck Charlie just ended on its 4th season.
Well, that Shake It Up ended at the tail end of last year.
Ant Farm is ending like this month, I think. And they're bringing in all these new shows. Like they're bringing in an updated version of Win, Lose or Draw that's been airing.
That's gonna flop. They'll kill that.
It's a little mini thing. It's not like they're not making it a huge big thing. It's like one of their little mini kind of things they show on Disney Channel. What's another show? Oh God, I Didn't Do It. That's probably gonna flop.
I hate that. That is so stupid. I don't mind the one where they've got the
dog with the blog.
I actually like that. I find the dog extremely humorous. Like the humans, I'm all right with the humans. They don't bother me that much. But the dog is so flippin' hilarious to listen to. Because he's like, just how the voice actor portrays it, and then the facial reactions they do to the dog, and then how it plays out. It's just it's hilarious. Because he's got a lot of sarcasm in there too, so it definitely helps. What's some of their? They got another one. It's one where the same actress plays the two sisters.
Oh, Living Maddie.
Yeah, I think it's. I was surprised when I first read that it's the same chick playing both characters.
Mm-hmm.
It still boggles my mind how they can make the interactions. Like, I mean, I
Yeah,
obviously know it's CG screened in, but like how they get to the like the hugging points or what, you know, stuff like that. It's just it boggles my mind with that. But that show's all right too. I'm indifferent on it.
Yeah, I'm just really I'm to the point now with Disney Channel that I'd rather watch some of the old content at this point, other than Boy or Girl Meets World. They haven't had a new episode of Phineas and Ferb in like a month and a half, and I know it takes a while for the animation and all that, but it just I don't know.
Then of course we have Gotham coming this fall,
Yeah, Gotham.
which again super stoked for.
Oh yeah.
And then of course the Flash.
Yeah, The Flash.
I'm looking forward to that only because they seem DC seems to be actually since the start of Arrow setting up a perfect universe
Mm-hmm.
on
CW.
yeah. Well, I mean, and I think the Fox Gotham show will be all right too once that goes, but it's kind of cool seeing them bringing stuff that's actually looking like it's going to work.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Yeah, it does. It looks really, really awesome.
Don't really see anything else that's coming out, really.
No. That's why I said I'm still stuck on like Rizzoli and Isles and The Blacklist and The Americans, and because those three are all shows that I really, really enjoy.
So I guess the question for the listeners would be, you know, obviously, you know, what shows are you looking forward to? But did we miss any that you think that we should be checking out that we may not have listed here? Like, if
Keep
there's
in
another
mind,
list.
keep in mind, Steve and I probably don't have HBO or any pay
I
channels.
have
so-
HBO for another year for free.
Oh, you lucky bastard.
Well, it came with my cable package,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna get raked over the coals in another 6 months, so it doesn't really. Well, of course, if I get this house that I'm working on, which I'll update next time, depending on if I got it or not. That's a whole nother ordeal. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know a little bit of the guts of it. Especially don't mess with me. I can find you.
Yeah.
Um,
Shut up.
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Um,
shut up. You're gonna get yourself into
I'm
trouble.
not getting into trouble. I'm not saying what I did because I didn't do anything. I just looked up information. But
Uh-huh.
that's all
Move
I did.
on.
I swear.
Move on.
But anyways, yeah. So if I get this new house, anyways, I'll cancel my cable package to start over, and I'll be a new customer. So I'll get a whole other year special. So that's great for me. But yeah, so I guess that's pretty much it for this episode. If you have any topic suggestions for next time, so we're not rambling on the same crap over and over, more so because honestly, I'd like to hear some more opinions on what you guys want to hear, instead of us talking about Batman for 20 episodes. Not that I wouldn't talk about Batman for 20 episodes, because I would, but again, I don't want to bore people with that. So, anything else you'd like to add, sir?
No, I think that's it. I will say anyone that's interested in Comic Talk, the pull bag, coming up in April, we've got some Star Wars stuff that we're going to cover. And then in May is the 75th celebration for Batman again.
Yeah, we did that a couple years ago.
Yep. That was the 73rd anniversary that we did that. So we've got that. And yeah, we're just planning for the year 5 launch come June 2nd, June 1st, June 2nd. And other than that, not much else I can think of off the top of my head.
Alrighty, I will close it out then. So thank you as always for joining us here on Altered Geek Unlimited. You can contact us in the following ways. You can call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. You can email us feedback at geekcastradio.com. You can visit the episode post at geekcastradio.com. You can find us on Facebook by searching Geekcast Radio Network. You can get a hold of us on Twitter at Geekcast Radio, hashtag Altered Geek. My Twitter contact is at SCP21, and yours is, sir?
TFG1 Mike.
So, as always, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks. See you next time.
Ah, brave new world that has such putzes in it. You know, kids, a lot has changed while your old Uncle Joker's been away. New Gotham, new rules, even a new Batman.
It isn't 65 years in the future, but Legends of the Dark Knight has gone beyond. Batman Beyond, that is.
Ah, the new boy. Ears are too long and I miss the cape, but not too shabby. Not too shabby at all.
Join Steve and Mike as they delve into the remaining episodes of the podcast, where they'll cover Batman Beyond, products, games, and more. Check it out only on GeekCastRadio.com.